the merchant's gambit. The unwanted visitor. The trading station Nexus 7 floated at the edge of civilized space like a rusted crown. It was old, built by the Korthan Empire 3,000 years ago, before they fell to plague and their monuments became homes for scavengers. Now it served as neutral ground where species met to trade, argue, and occasionally kill each other in the shadows between the legal marketplaces. Commander Zethrak of the Vrax Dominion stood on the station's observation deck and watched a small human ship approach. It was called the Wandering Star, according to the registration beacon, and it looked like it had been assembled from spare parts salvaged from a dozen different vessels. The hull was patched with mismatched metal. The engines glowed unevenly, as if they might fail at any moment. Humans. Zethrak's mandibles clicked together in what his species considered disgust. They had only been in space for 60 years, yet they were everywhere now. Trading, exploring, asking questions that nobody wanted to answer. They were annoying, like insects that refused to be swatted away. "Commander," his aide said, approaching with proper deference. "The human vessel is requesting docking permission." "Why?" Zethrak asked. "What do they want?" "They claim to have goods for trade. Food, entertainment systems, medical supplies." Zethrak considered refusing. The Vrax Dominion did not need human goods. They were the strongest military power in this sector, with a fleet that could reduce planets to glass. They took what they wanted. They did not trade for it. But station regulations were clear. All ships had docking rights unless they posed a security threat. And the human vessel was so small, so pathetic, that it could not possibly threaten anyone. "Let them dock," Zethrak said. "But assign security to watch them. I do not trust these creatures." The human arrives. The human who stepped off the Wandering Star was not what Zethrak expected. Most humans he had seen were nervous in the presence of larger species, their eyes darting around, their bodies tense with barely controlled fear. This one was different. Her name was Captain Sarah Kim, according to the manifest. She was short, barely reaching the middle of Zethrak's thorax, with dark hair pulled back in a practical style. She wore a simple jumpsuit that had been repaired so many times that it was hard to tell what color it had originally been. She carried a datapad in one hand and a small case in the other. But it was her eyes that caught Zethrak's attention. They were calm, measuring, intelligent. She looked at him the way a predator looks at potential prey, with careful assessment, calculating strengths and weaknesses. "Commander Zethrak," she said, her translator rendering her words into perfect Vraxian. "Thank you for allowing us to dock. I'm Captain Sarah Kim of the Wandering Star. I'm here to discuss a business opportunity that might interest the Dominion." Zethrak's mandibles clicked again. The Vrax Dominion does not do business with humans. "We are warriors, not merchants." "I understand," Sarah said, not intimidated in the slightest. "But warriors need supplies. Food, ammunition, medical equipment. I have access to all of these things at prices well below what you're currently paying your suppliers." "How do you know what we pay our suppliers?" Sarah smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "I make it my business to know things, Commander. That's how I stay alive in this galaxy." Zethrak studied her. There was something about this human that made his combat instincts twitch. She was too calm, too confident. Humans were supposed to be weak, easily frightened. This one showed no fear at all. "Very well," he said. "You have 5 minutes to present your offer. If it is inadequate, you will leave immediately." "Fair enough." Sarah opened her datapad and pulled up a holographic display. Numbers and charts appeared in the air between them. "Your current food supplier is the Korthan Consortium. You pay approximately 150 credits per ton of standard rations. I can provide the same quality for 100 credits per ton." Zethrak's secondary eyes narrowed. "How?" "Humans are very good at farming, Commander. We've been doing it for 10,000 years. We can grow food faster and cheaper than most species. It's one of our few advantages in a galaxy full of beings who are stronger, faster, and more technologically advanced than we are. She swiped to the next screen. Medical supplies. Your current supplier charges 500 credits for a standard trauma kit. I can provide the same kit, with human-manufactured components, for 350 credits. Human medicine is inferior, Zethrak said. Human medicine is different, Sarah corrected. We've spent millennia fighting diseases and injuries on a harsh world with limited resources. We learned to be creative, to find solutions that work with what we have. Some of our medical techniques are considered primitive by galactic standards, but they work. And they're cheap. She showed him more numbers. Ammunition at reduced prices. Ship components that cost half what his current suppliers charged. Luxury goods that his officers might appreciate during long deployments. The offer was good. Too good. Why? Zethrak asked. Why offer such favorable terms? What do you gain? Sarah's smile widened slightly. I gain a contract with the Vrax Dominion. Once I prove that I can deliver quality goods at these prices, word will spread. Other military forces will want to hire me. Within a year, I'll have contracts across this entire sector. You are ambitious. I'm practical. The galaxy is a competitive place, Commander. Humans have to work twice as hard as everyone else just to survive. I'm offering you a chance to save money and get reliable supplies. In exchange, I get to build my reputation. It's a fair trade. Zethrak considered. The offer was indeed good. His logistics officers would be pleased. The savings could be redirected to weapons and ships, making the Dominion even stronger. But something still bothered him about this human. Something in those calm, calculating eyes. I will consult with my superiors, he said. Return to your ship. You will have an answer within 6 hours. Sarah nodded. Thank you, Commander. I look forward to working with you. The decision. Zethrak met with his command council in a secure conference room deep within Nexus 7. 3 other senior officers sat around the holographic table, their expressions ranging from skeptical to intrigued. The human's offer is genuine, his logistics officer reported. I have verified the pricing and availability. She can deliver everything she promised. Then why is she offering such low prices? Demanded Commander Threx, the fleet's tactical officer. No merchant gives away profit without reason. She explained her reasoning, Zethrak said. She wants to build her reputation by serving the Dominion. Once we become her client, others will follow. Or it's a trick, Threx growled. Humans are known for their deception. What if she's gathering intelligence? What if this is some kind of scheme to infiltrate our supply lines? To what purpose? The logistics officer asked. Humans have no military power. They cannot threaten us. They do not need military power to be dangerous, Threx insisted. Poison in our food. Sabotaged equipment. Explosives hidden in supply crates. There are 1,000 ways they could hurt us. Zethrak thought about Sarah Kim's eyes. About the intelligence he had seen there. About the way she had shown no fear, no submission, none of the behaviors he expected from weaker species. We will accept her offer, he said finally. But with conditions. All supplies will be thoroughly inspected before distribution. The human ship will be monitored at all times. And at the first sign of treachery, we will destroy them. The council agreed. The contract was drawn up and transmitted to the Wandering Star. Within an hour, Sarah Kim had signed it and begun preparing her first delivery. Zethrak watched her ship depart from the station, its uneven engines glowing as it accelerated toward human space. Something about this situation felt wrong, but he could not identify what. Perhaps he was simply being paranoid. Perhaps the human was exactly what she claimed to be, a desperate merchant trying to survive in a hostile galaxy. Or perhaps she was something else entirely. Something dangerous. Time would tell the price of arrogance. 3 months later. The first delivery arrived exactly on schedule. 10 cargo ships, each loaded with food, medical supplies, and equipment, all provided at the prices Sarah Kim had promised. The wrack's inspection teams examined everything with paranoid thoroughness, searching for poisons, explosives, surveillance devices, anything that might pose a threat. They found nothing. The supplies were exactly as advertised, high quality, properly stored, completely safe. The second delivery came a month later. Then a third. Then a fourth. Each one perfect. Each one saving the Dominion millions of credits that could be spent on weapons and ships and conquest. Commander Zethrak began to relax. Perhaps he had been wrong about the human. Perhaps she was simply a skilled merchant who had found a profitable niche serving military forces. There was no conspiracy, no hidden agenda, just business. Other military organizations began to notice. The Korthan Consortium, the Drex Coalition, even the mysterious Silicate Collective started hiring human merchants to supply their forces. Sarah Kim's prediction had been correct. Once she proved herself with the Dominion, word spread quickly. Within 6 months, human merchant ships were everywhere, providing supplies to half the military forces in the sector. They were reliable, cheap, and completely harmless. That was when everything changed. The ultimatum. Zethrak was reviewing fleet readiness reports when the emergency signal came through. A priority transmission from High Command, eyes only, maximum security. He opened it immediately. The message was brief: all human merchant vessels have ceased deliveries. Respond immediately. Zethrak's mandibles clicked in confusion. Ceased deliveries? Why? He pulled up the status of his supply shipments. Every single human vessel scheduled to deliver that day had failed to arrive. Their transponders showed them holding position in neutral space, engines idle, making no attempt to approach any Dominion facility. He contacted Sarah Kim's ship directly. Her face appeared on his screen, still wearing that calm, measuring expression. "Commander Zethrak," she said pleasantly. "I've been expecting your call." "Why have your shipments stopped?" he demanded. "You are in violation of our contract." "Actually, I'm not. If you read the fine print, you'll see that deliveries are contingent on safe passage through our designated routes. Recently, those routes have become unsafe." "Unsafe how?" Sarah's expression didn't change. 3 days ago, a Vrax patrol ship fired on and destroyed a human civilian transport in the Kepler Nebula. 23 people died, including children. The transport was unarmed and posed no threat. Your forces destroyed it anyway. Zethrak felt cold understanding begin to creep through him. That transport was in restricted space. It was given multiple warnings. It was taking a shortcut through an area your people claimed for military exercises. A shortcut we've been using for years without incident. Your patrol captain decided that a civilian transport full of families was a security threat and destroyed it without further investigation. A tragic mistake, Zethrak said carefully. But one incident does not justify breaking our contract. You're right, Sarah agreed. Which is why I'm not breaking the contract. I'm simply informing you that until the Vrax Dominion provides compensation to the families of the dead and guarantees safe passage for all human civilian vessels, we cannot guarantee the safety of our cargo ships. Dangerous routes lead to lost supplies. Lost supplies mean we cannot fulfill our obligations. The implications hit Zethrak like a physical blow. You're holding our supplies hostage. I'm protecting my crews. There's a difference. You cannot do this. Zethrak's voice rose. The Dominion has contracts with dozens of your merchants. If all of you stop deliveries, we will run out of food within 2 weeks, Sarah interrupted. Medical supplies within 10 days. Ammunition within a month. Yes, Commander, I'm aware of your supply situation. As I told you when we first met, I make it my business to know things. Zethrak stared at her. At those calm, intelligent, predator's eyes. And finally, he understood. This had always been the plan. The trap springs shut. You did this deliberately, Zethrak whispered. You offered us cheap supplies knowing we would become dependent on you. You coordinated with every other human merchant to ensure that half the military forces in this sector would rely on human goods. And now you have us trapped. Sarah's smile was cold and satisfied. We told you that humans are good at farming. We told you that we learned to survive on a harsh world with limited resources. We told you that we had to be creative to compete in a galaxy full of stronger species. We told you everything, Commander. You simply didn't listen. She leaned forward. You destroyed a ship full of our families. You killed 23 civilians, including children, because you thought human lives were worthless. You thought we were weak. You thought we would accept your violence without consequence. We are a military power. Zethrak roared. We have 1,000 warships. We could destroy every human colony in this sector. You could, Sarah agreed. But you won't. Because if you do, every military force that depends on human supplies will see what happens to those who attack us. They'll see their food and medicine and ammunition disappear overnight. They'll see their soldiers starve and their wounded die and their weapons run empty. And they'll learn the same lesson you're learning right now. She paused, letting her words sink in. Don't mess with human merchants. Zethrak felt something he had not felt in his entire military career. Fear. Real, genuine fear. Not of weapons or warships, but of the economic power this small human woman wielded. What do you want? He asked quietly. Compensation for the families. 10 million credits, divided among the survivors. A formal apology from the Dominion. Prosecution of the patrol captain who gave the order to fire. And a guarantee that human civilian vessels will have safe passage through all Dominion space. That is a significant demand. 23 lives were a significant loss, Sarah replied. You have 24 hours to decide. After that, my merchants will find new clients. Ones who understand that we may be weak individually, but we're very strong when we work together. The screen went dark. Zethrak sat in silence for a long time. Then he contacted High Command and relayed Sarah's demands. The response came within an hour. The Dominion would pay. They would apologize. They would prosecute the guilty officer. And they would guarantee safe passage for human civilians. Because they had no choice. Because the humans had done something that no military force had ever accomplished, they had brought the mighty Vrax Dominion to its knees without firing a single shot. 1 year later. Sarah Kim stood on the observation deck of Nexus 7 and watched Vrax warships pass by outside. They were heading to patrol the borders, protecting trade routes that included human vessels traveling under guaranteed safe passage. Commander Zethrak approached her. He had requested this meeting personally. You have won, he said simply. The Dominion has learned its lesson. We will not underestimate humans again. Sarah turned to face him. Good. Because we're tired of being underestimated. We're tired of being treated as weak, as insignificant, as acceptable targets. We may not have the strongest military. We may not have the most advanced technology. But we have something that matters just as much, we have each other. She gestured at the ships outside. Every human merchant in this sector coordinated our action. Every single one. We proved that economic power can be just as effective as military power. Maybe more effective, because it doesn't require destruction. It just requires cooperation. You are a dangerous species, Zethrak said. It was not an insult. It was recognition. Only when we need to be, Sarah replied. We prefer peace. We prefer trade. We prefer building relationships instead of burning bridges. But when you force us to act, we act decisively. She smiled, that same cold, satisfied smile. You called us merchants, as if that was something small, something beneath notice. You forgot that merchants built empires long before warriors did. You forgot that the hand that controls the food controls everything. Zethrak was silent for a moment. Then he said, "Your species will go far in this galaxy." "We already have," Sarah said. "You just didn't notice until we made you notice." "That's the thing about humans, Commander. We're easy to overlook until suddenly, we're everywhere." She walked away, leaving Zethrak alone on the observation deck. He watched her small figure disappear into the crowd of aliens, just another human merchant going about her business. But now he knew the truth. Humans weren't just merchants. They were strategists, coordinators, long-term planners who thought in terms of years and decades instead of battles and campaigns. They were weak individually. But together, they were something else entirely. They were dangerous. And the galaxy was just beginning to understand what that meant.